Every one of us understands the importance, the vitalness of great communication, particularly in a family and particularly in a family business. So my question to you is, why is it that if we understand it has such importance and such value, that we dedicate so little time, energy, and effort to making it better? This is the beginning of a series on human capital, and throughout this series I'm going to try and do my very best to outline for you what human capital is, break it down into the parts, and show you the different aspects of it. The first part I want to talk about today is relationship capital, and specifically under that heading, communication capital. So, are you investing in your communication, and is that paying dividends in your relationships throughout? When Mark and his father walked into my office, they were certainly having some conflict about what it would mean to be a next-gen leader. To be honest, they both had their own doubts for their own reasons about whether Mark was actually ready to step into that role as the next-gen leader. Mark's father felt like he had done everything to prepare Mark. He had sent him to the right schools, he'd had the right kind of education. Mark, on the other hand, had had that kind of education but felt like there was something missing. Both of them sensed that it might be experience. Mark's father had spent 20, 30, 40 years developing the level of experience that was needed to lead the organization. Mark, of course, had been by his side a lot of that time, but had not got that kind of depth that was needed. The conflict they were having seemed to be about personality, seemed to be around a values conversation, in that Mark's father was concerned that Mark would not carry on the family values, that he had different values than his father did. Mark, of course, did have different values. He had things that were different for him and things that were more important for him, but he wasn't trying to get away in any way from the family values. He was just trying to expand them and grow them, and in fact grow the legacy of the organization. When we broke it down and took a look into it, here's what came up. We were able to find out that Mark's father had had exactly the same issues with his own father. Now, he'd forgotten that, of course, because his father had looked at him as a young pup who didn't really understand and didn't really know the values of the organization. And of course, Mark's father had grown the company and still held the family values, but expanded the legacy. It was only when I was able to help them get to the depth of understanding that there was a projection of Mark's grandfather onto Mark's father, and he was doing the same onto his son, that they could actually stop and look at what they actually had in common, what was the bond between them that would actually allow them to unite. It was from there that we started to really develop the relationship capital, the human capital, the relationship at a deeper level, so that they could work together and build an organization. I hope this has helped you to sort of grasp the beginnings of understanding of what relationship capital is and how that is an aspect of human capital. This is Dov Baron, FullMontyLeadership.com. Until next time, stay curious, my friends. Stay curious.